Come on, we planned this. Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Kat. Today I'm going to be filming a really fun video, like my ultimate timeless thrifted wish list. Now, these are things that honestly I think everyone should own, or everyone who like sways more towards like a 70s kind of vibe. And by 70s, I don't mean ABBA, I mean more in the boho-y kind of way. So if that's your style, these things should go on a list because they're so nice. Now let's start with the first one. I spoke about in my last video. It's a cowhide bag. Now, let me just preface by saying, if it's vintage, it's already dead, it's already made, it's already there. So I love vintage fake animals. I'm vegetarian, so I'm doing my part for the planet still, so don't come at me for that. But again, this is timeless, in my opinion, for me, for my style. But if you're just an average Joe and you don't really like vintage or whatever, but I can imagine anyone watching this video, you probably do like vintage. But yeah, cowhide, beautiful. If you see any cowhide at car boot sales, always pick it up and even resell it, because I know someone out there will really appreciate it. Okay, next one is like your classic heeled boot. Kind of reminds me of the type of shoe you see girls in Paris, that kind of vibe. But I'm really enjoying seeing this like American fitted jean with a boot. Now, I'm a cowboy boot girl through and through. However, I would quite like some black squared off, just for a more classy look, you know, because sometimes the cowboy boots can be a bit shocking for people. Okay, next one. Now, I've heard a few people here and there actually debating whether they think this is timeless or not, and I am definitely on the side that this is timeless, and it is Adidas joggers. Now, I've only ever had one pair of that, like, is it nylon, where when you walk it's like parachutey? They're so annoying. But even with those, and they're like 10 sizes too big, like the buttons unbutton and it shows my leg sometimes and my underwear. Not a good look, but I've had those for years and I've literally worn the life out of them. I'm waiting to find some in like a different type of colorway and more in like a cotton material rather than a nylon material. But I just know right now this is something I'm gonna have for the longest time. I don't know what colorway. I don't think I really care so much about the colorway, more about the fit. Straight leg, fit me nicely, and the material, because I can be quite sensitive with material, especially if I'm going to be wearing them a lot. But I feel like I'd be happy to spend money on them, honestly. But yeah. Okay, the next thing on my list that I probably need quite badly is a belt. Well, all of my belts for starters, the buckle is like so heavy, it doesn't even keep my trousers up. In fact, not only it doesn't keep them up, but it actually weighs them down more. So I need like a classic looking vintage, or not, maybe not even vintage, leather belt. Doesn't need to be thick, like not thick, not skinny, just classic with silver hardware, because I really need one, and I've been stealing Jude's belt and it is not good because everyone should have a black belt. But the classic look I'm really here for. But when I say classic, in my head I mean like USA 70s vibe, like cowboy boots. That, to me, that's classic. You might not agree with that. Okay, next on my list is vintage bangles. Now, these are literally everywhere. I have so many, and if you're looking for a good way to store them, I've put them all on a coat hanger and on the hook bit, and it's worked pretty well so far, so recommend doing that. But again, this is something you don't need to go out of your way to find. Any car boot, any charity shop, you'll find them there for so cheap. And I love all of my jewellery, literally all of it has a story, and I know that people have owned it all before me, and that's the beauty of vintage jewellery. Honestly, there's not any brand, no matter how good the jewellery is, that can make it look like a vintage ring. You just buy a vintage ring. There's there's so much jewellery in the world. We don't need to be trying to recreate vintage jewellery. Just buy vintage jewellery and it will last you a long time. Okay, the next one. Some people might argue with me over this one, but frilly bloomers are 100% timeless in my opinion. And the only reason why I can imagine myself getting rid of some is if they don't fit. As you guys probably know, there are a lot of brands at the moment that are kind of doing this like frilly lace bloomer short thing. But the thing is with that, I want to try and find a vintage one, and I really thought about buying some last summer, but I've held off, so I'm hoping that I can try and find some real vintage ones, but if not, I will probably be trying to find, like, you know, an alternative. But I did actually buy some last year. Yeah, no, they weren't vintage. They were these white frilly bloomers, and they were so cute. However, when I put them in the wash and I chucked the tablet in, it stained them blue, so I need to get some more. And plus they were too tight. I want to get some like proper baggy ones, you know. Yeah, I honestly think they're timeless, and some high brown, sorry to say cowboy boots again, but that's so my vibe. Love, love, love. Okay, the next one is something that's only really made its way onto my list recently. I got this one from my brother's shop, and he said this style of top is called obscure vintage t-shirts. Like I said, I don't think these will never not be on my list, because firstly, I don't think you can ever have enough, because, you know, they're just such a useful basic staple piece to have in your wardrobe anyways. I don't think you'll get bored of them, because all these crazy screen print things you get bored of so quickly, but with like a classic vintage t-shirt, and even if you don't want it, give it to one of your friends, or you can resell it, and like I said before, it will keep its value. But most of the time, these obscure vintage t-shirts are so much more interesting and funny. All these like ironic little slogans on. Yeah, I really like them anyway, so I've always got an eye out for those. I only have one so far, but keeping an eye out. Okay, next one. You already know this. I said this in one of my previous videos, but a Waffle long sleeve top. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I feel like I've talked about the Waffle tops enough. But again, this is something that feels so good on my skin, and I know I won't get bored of, and again, timeless, very versatile, really comfy. What more do you want? Okay, next one, I've got a lace blouse, which is funny because the day after I wrote this, I was looking through some clothes that my great auntie gave me, and actually, no, I wore it in like one of my last videos. It was this like beautiful, like authentic 60s lace, like cami top with like cap sleeves. It's so pretty, and I was actually on the hunt for one, but now I've got that. This is what I'm saying, these clothes just find you. Do you know what I mean? When you know what you're looking for, so you can just like walk into a charity shop, go to a car boot sale, bang, 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 you know what you're looking for already. So that's why it's always good to have like a little list before you go to these things. Okay, next up, I really want to get like a high neck detail top. I know high neck suits me way better as well. And it reminds me of this photo I saw of my mum recently when she was like my age back in the day. Just really pretty, and I know this is like, it's just like an elevated basic instead of like a black t-shirt. It's just a little bit more interest to it, and I can tell you right now you wouldn't get bored of it. Next up is a grey wool trench coat. I've literally been looking for one for probably like a year and a half. Every charity shop, I've got a grey trench coat, but it's not wool. And I really feel like I was missing out on that, because I'm a charcoal grey girl through and through. I'd much rather go for a charcoal grey than like a black or a brown or even a beige. So yeah, I'm sure there's enough wool, what the heck, why can't I say it? Wool. I'm sure there's enough wool charcoal coats out there, so I don't need to be buying any new ones. Next up, a tool belt. Now we know we've seen these around probably for quite a long time now, but again, this is something I don't want to buy a brand new tool belt. It seems pointless. Like, I know they're out there. I want to get one in like maybe a khaki green sort of colour, or black or brown, I don't even know, but like ideally a leather brown tool belt vintage would be really cool. This is just such a great accessory, and it breaks up an outfit, especially when you kind of do wear more like plain things. Just so much more interest. Next one on my list is something that I've wanted for so long. Slouchy boots. I'm obsessed. It reminds me of like Kate Moss at these festivals back in the day. Like, let your hair down, your boots are sagging and they're looking all old and crusty, but that is a look. So I've been on a hunt. Yeah, I'll keep you updated with that one. Next up is brown cowboy boots. Now I've got a few pairs already, and I actually do have brown cowboy boots already, and they're like a really dark brown, and they're like a point, like a proper like point, like scary looking shoe. But I want to get some more softer because sometimes they can look a little bit too much with the outfits that I wear. So I want to get some light brown square toe cowboy boots, like classic. I mean, the ones I've got are already classic, but yeah, not much difference. But there's no point in me going for like a black cowboy boot or like a beige cowboy boot, because I can tell you right now, I will wear a brown cowboy boot so much more than I will wear any other colour, because honestly, it's never let me down. This is something that just comes with time, and all these pieces, because they are, in my opinion, timeless, it's not something that you just go on eBay and look for, because, you know, it doesn't work like that. But again, that is what I love about, you know, this style of clothing, 70s, boho, this kind of classic vibe. I'm so glad people are starting to dress like this. It's so much more interesting than getting Topshop outfits. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this video. Make sure you follow me on my socials, and make sure you subscribe, because I post every Sunday and Tuesday. And have a good day, and I will see you